Court Reporter Confidential. I'm your host, Stephanie Leslie, and today I have a guest with me, Michael Bouley. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, we're very honored to have you. We are located, in case you don't recognize our background, at the NCRA convention. We took this opportunity to talk with some folks that wouldn't normally be in California, and so we're looking forward to getting to know you better because I don't know you very well. So I've heard great things, so I can't wait to talk.
Good. I'll tell my side of it.
Good. So you are a reporter.
I am indeed.
And I know a little bit about your story, about your family. It's sort of a legacy of court reporters, and I'd love to hear more. So tell us all about it.
Thank you. So it's great to be here and appreciate this opportunity. I did not intend to be a court reporter. My father was a court reporter, and I grew up listening to him in his home office late at night, dictating his notes.
Before computers.
Before computers, before, it was way back. And so they had paper notes, and they would run them on a scroll and dictate, and then send the dictation off to a typist, and she would type it up and send it back for corrections.
Wow. So you really had to know how to read your notes.
Oh, yeah.
That was all there was, yeah.
Yeah, you learned how to read your notes. And I, as much as I loved my father, and I loved everything about my family. But there was nothing about court reporting that appealed to me. I wanted to be a professional baseball player.
Right. My kind of guy.
Yeah. So, and then later on, I scored well on the health sciences part of the SAT, so I decided, well, I'll be a doctor. But organic chemistry convinced me that probably was not going to be the path for me.
I've heard that's rough.
Yeah, and so I took a year off of college, and then I decided maybe I will go to court reporting school because my dad had said, if you want to do that, I'll help you out. And how my father had gotten into it, he had been drafted into the Army as a young man, and he had a defective heart valve from a childhood fever. And when they found that, they gave him a medical discharge and the GI Bill. So he went to the Minnesota School of Business right here in Minneapolis. And he said, I would like to be an accountant. And they said, they were showing him the school, and they said, well, the accounting class is full. And he said, well, what's that classroom that's not full? And they said, well, that's court reporting. And he asked, what's that about? And they said, we give you this little machine, and if you can learn to go fast on it, you can get a job as a court reporter and make money. And if you can't get fast enough on it, if you quit, you get to keep the machine and sell it for $50. And so he decided, well, I'm $50 ahead if I sign up right now. So he signed up, and he had a knack for it. And he finished, he jobbed out of school at 180 words a minute. Once he hit 180 words a minute, somebody started giving him work here in Minneapolis. And he was not a fan of the cold weather. He had grown up here, and he had a job interview in Tucson, Arizona. He flew out for a job interview, and it was warm and sunny, and they offered him a job. And shortly after that, he packed up my mom and the 3 kids that were already born and moved to Tucson.
Okay.
And that's how he started his career, and he became a very famous and legendary court reporter in his own right. He was a speed contest competitor for decades, and he was on the NCRA dictation committee. They made volumes of speed practice dictation tapes that so many court reporters grew up using to train, and
probably myself included.
Probably
I
so.
didn't even know.
Yeah, if you go back and listen to them, you might hear Sherry Harris and Jim Bouley and some other names of the dictators. So, and out of mom and dad's 8 kids, the last 5 of us became court reporters.
Wow.
And so that's how the family. I mean, that's kind of the family genesis.
Yeah. And you have been an official or freelance, or what have you? Where has this taken you in your professional career? So
I've started out as a freelancer, just like my father, and the first few years were they were a challenge for me. I was always fine on the machine. I was not terribly mature at that age, and I didn't have the greatest business sense and training and discipline. And so it was a little bit of a up and down ride, just managing the budget and health care and things like that. I had a daughter who was born right in there, and I decided maybe I'll try court work and see if that is a little more to my liking. My father was never a fan of court work, and early back in those days, the court reporters covered the courtroom and the depositions because at least that in that community, they didn't have full-time court stenographers and they didn't have full-time freelancers, so they just did both. And in many small communities, that's still the case.
Interesting.
There's not enough volume in either one, so they cover everything.
Okay.
And he didn't like working in court because he wasn't the boss. And he was not a guy who could be an Indian. He had to be the chief. And so when I said maybe I'll try court, he was very he said, "Oh, you'll hate it," But when I got to court in the first 2 weeks, I loved it. Like it was an instant fit because it finally felt like a steady job, using the skills I had trained on and developed.
Yeah.
And I had a steady budget. I knew I was getting paid the same amount every 2 weeks, regardless of what receipts paid, receivables paid.
Yeah, that's
my
a
daughter
better fit for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's the steady, you know where you're going every day, you know where the money's coming from.
Yeah, and I was a single dad, so I didn't have there was no second income in the house. And so, like a lot of single moms, you have to figure out a way to manage.
Yeah.
So in my second year at the courthouse, I was in a floating position.
Which means you don't have your dedicated courtroom.
Right.
Okay.
And you just kind of float around, and it was a grant-funded position, which wasn't even necessarily guaranteed that it would be around forever. And then in my second year, a young pro tem judge had been appointed by the governor to a full-time division judge, and he was taking applications for his staff reporter, because they were allowed to have a staff reporter. And I applied, and I had worked with him, and I liked the guy. He was pretty stoic, but I knew I got along with him. You could tell he was no nonsense, and I thought I'd blown the interview. But a couple weeks later, I was floating again, and I was in his courtroom, and after our calendar, he said, "You still want to work in here, Mike?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he said, "Okay, I'll let Tom know." So I'd gotten a position, and I tell people his name is Michael Alfred. He's retired now, and I tell people I've never met a man I admire more than Michael Alfred. And it was such a formative. I worked with him for 14 years.
Wow!
And it was such a it was so good for me because he was so wise and mature. But he was the kind of boss that I've heard it said, he looks with one eye and listens with one ear, meaning anything that can be overlooked is going to be overlooked, but if it's important enough, he's going to see it. And that he had that discretion. He had been an Army captain, had been to Vietnam, served in combat, and he had perspective. And so all those years we did mostly criminal work, which is processing men and their mistakes. And he understood men and their mistakes and how their mistakes impact victims. And many times they're just making victims of themselves, and other times they're making victims of other people. And that one eye and one ear allowed him to discern the difference.
Wow.
So,
a true Solomon leader. So much wisdom. Huh?
Yeah, so much wisdom. And I tell people in 14 years, I was on the machine taking down the decisions he made. In 14 years, I don't think he missed one. And our job is never to have an opinion, but we always do.
Yeah, we're just not allowed to say it.
Yeah, exactly. But and that's why it was such a wonderful experience for me, and so formative. And
so you were in criminal the whole time. or most of
Most
your...
of it, most of
Yeah,
it, yeah.
that's
I'm feeling, I feel myself getting a little emotional about it all, because
Sounds very special. But
was.
you've probably heard so many difficult things, but also maybe second chances, and from what you're saying.
Yeah, the way I would put it is the most heartbreaking and the most breathtaking.
Wow.
Yep. And so when he retired, I looked around. I knew if he was there today, I'd still be with him.
Wow.
But once he retired, I looked around at my option, because in this field there are so many opportunities
I love
everywhere. And I would always see them, I'd see these jobs here and opportunities there. And I would think that sounds really cool, but the time's not right. Well, when he retired in 2017, at that point, my daughter was married with her own family and living in Virginia with her husband in the Navy. And I thought, time is finally right. If I want to do something different, now's the time. And so I looked around and explored a few thoughts and opportunities, and just kind of concluded I'm 8 years away from earning a pension, and I thought, I think I'll continue to stay right here. So and then I ended up being the staff reporter for another judge who was a bit younger, who had been one of my father's favorite clients as a lawyer. He was a medical malpractice lawyer, and he had become a judge. And so, and he wanted, he and my dad had a great just a great relationship. And so he wanted me, and so I had a great last 5 or 6 years with Judge Browning. And
That's wonderful.
then when I got to as my 25th year was approaching, I knew it was 25 years was the magic number, and I knew it's time for a new season. It's time for a new chapter. And even though he would have loved for me to stay, it was time for me to go. And so I retired from the courthouse and started freelancing in Tucson at my father's old agency, which was really it was down to his last remaining partner and the receptionist, and it was kind of like the Maytag repair office. The phone wasn't even ringing.
Oh,
And I thought I would, rejuvenate that. After a year or two of, putting time and effort in there, though, I concluded that the market wasn't right, the circumstances weren't right, and his old partner liked doing things the old way, and I knew there wasn't any future in that. And so I decided I'm gonna, spin the wheel of fortune and see what happens. So I ended up applying for some jobs around the country. I interviewed for a federal position in Virginia, and after the 12-hour trip home, I slept on it and then withdrew my name because I thought it's just too far from home.
Oh, okay.
And at that point, my daughter they'd been transferred elsewhere.
Oh, I see.
So they weren't in Virginia anymore. And I ended up accepting a job at the courthouse in northern Colorado. And my sister and her family live in Denver. And I thought, I'll go back to court, and this will be new and exciting. So I went up there for a year. And I had an absolutely amazing, wonderful year there. They loved me, and I loved them. It was a little small town, Greeley, Colorado. There was 4 of us reporters.
Wow.
And there had probably been 40 in Tucson, which was a big crew. I loved my year in Colorado. I was never warm. Not one minute of one day was I warm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then another federal officialship opened up in Las Vegas, and so I applied for that, and they offered me the job, so I moved out to Las Vegas.
And you're still there.
I'm still there, except I'm not at the federal courthouse. That turned out to be a very short experience. It just wasn't a good fit. I'm not sure all the reasons why, but I can just say, I wasn't fitting them and they weren't fitting me. And so I separated from the federal courthouse, and started taking some freelance work that didn't require my Nevada certification. Because I had some friends and colleagues that that knew I was there, and I was in my dream city. I was
Nice
where I
and
wanted
warm.
to be.
Nice and warm.
Nice and warm and fun, like a nice big market and fun, and for the new chapter of life that I was seeking. So
Well, we discussed this off the record a little bit, but the longer I'm in this field, the more excited I am about the options. I mean, I've already been reporting 21 years, and I could go anywhere. I could do anything. CART, captioning. I have a plan B in my head that I could go to be in federal court in Raleigh near my family, or, it's just neat. It's never too late to pivot and try something new, which is so cool.
Yeah, anywhere, stenographers are in such demand.
I know.
That anywhere you go, they're going to love you immediately, because it's like when you call 911, you don't care who shows up, you're just praising God they're there, and
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
So anyway, once I was in Las Vegas, the next opportunity I sat for my state certification, and nailed it, of course, because I was studying for it, and it wasn't terribly confusing. It's just, hey, study. It's grammar. It's punctuation, common sense, and a little bit of state rules that you can study up. And so I crushed it. And the day the results came out, my phone rang, and it was an agency saying, "Hey, we saw you pass the test. We'd like to just establish a little line of communication." And I said, "Great, I'm glad to hear it." And I thought, okay, this is good. I'm where I wanted to be, and things are starting to happen. A half hour later, the same girl called me back. She said, "We've got an emergency. We've got a reporter who's on a depot right now, and we didn't know it was going to go past noon. She's got another assignment, and it's 11:30 or something at this point." She goes, "Can you get over there and take over for her?" And like I hadn't even, I was still in my whatever I slept in, and I said, "Oh no, I can't do that. I'm not prepared to work today, but thank you." And she's like, "No, really, can you, you'd be doing us a favor." So I did the calculation in my head, and I said, "Okay, I need this much time to shower and put on some work clothes, and I need that much time to get across town." And I said, "Okay, tell them I'll be there at 12:30 or something, or whatever it was." I hung up the phone, and this is hours after the test list was released. I'm on my way to my first, job, and it's an emergency. And I get over there, and the reporter was very happy to see me to take over so she could get to her next emergency. And
always an emergency.
And that depot ended up going into the evening, several hours. It was an 0-4. They asked for an expedite, and it was immediately like, it's like I made more on that job. I made enough for the month, on that job.
Crazy.
And I was like, yeah, this is the right move. I'm in the right place.
That was your sign.
Yeah. And so since then, it's just been off to the races. And I'm so happy to be doing what I'm doing, where I'm doing it. I feel like my life is a vacation. And it's everything I wanted when I decided to spin the wheel of fortune.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And just to pivot slightly, we are at the NCRA convention. And I know that you've been quite involved. And so tell me about your involvement. I know you've been a trustee in the past of the NCRF, which is the foundation, the fundraising arm, right?
The philanthropic arm, yeah.
Exactly. There you go.
So, I had a lot of state level service, because my father was so involved. I just grew up in it, and I was I'd been president of the Arizona Court Reporters Association twice, and probably done 10 years total as a board member or executive officer. And I was asked to serve on the NCRF, National Court Reporters Foundation Board of Trustees in somewhere around 2016 or 17. So I'd been doing that. I did that for a while. which was really rewarding. And I helped to raise funds and recruit NCRF Angels, which are people who commit to $1,000 a year, all tax deductible.
Wink, wink.
Yes, and that money goes to support scholarships for students and young professionals, and
Very important.
It's a way of giving back. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is one of your passions. I understand.
It is one of my passions.
Giving back. I mean, we've been given so much, right?
Yeah.
Our opportunities, and so, yeah, I feel the same. And I had a mentor when I began, which I think many of us did. I mean, maybe you just had it all in the family, but I didn't know the first thing about beyond the transcript, right? I knew the skill of taking it down and I'm going to create this transcript, and now what? How do I become a business owner? How do I, even just finalize the transcript? And so my mentor, she printed out my transcript and let's go over it, fine tooth comb, all of it. And honestly, if it were not for her, I don't know where I'd be. So just paying it forward. We heard a great speech today from our keynote about paying it forward and our executive director. And it's just so important to leave things better than we found them. I can't say enough about that.
I agree. Every meal I ate as a child, up to every meal I eat as an adult, has all been paid for through court reporting. My mom and dad, everything they did, all the shoes I wore through school, every new textbook, every tuition, every little league registration fee, everything came from court reporting. And it's such a blessing because it not only gives you that material quality of life. It is such a for me it's such a spiritual enrichment and stream of gratitude. We hear some hard things, and we hear some. As I say, I hear everything from heartbreaking to breathtaking. And being able to be that fly on the wall and see that and be a part of people's stories, their journeys through hard times it's a gift to be able to do that for them, and yet go home to your family and your happiness and your joy and everything else. It's so rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely. So you obviously have a family legacy. What do you foresee your future? I know you're living the dream right now, and your family has a legacy, not scholarship, an award that you've helped sponsor through the NCRA.
So NCRF has an Altruism award, which is given every year to a member who has just given back with no expectation of anything in return, which is what altruism is all about. And so my family, in honoring my father who had passed, as sort of a gift to my mother, when NCRF was looking for a new sponsor for the award, I approached my siblings and said, "Do you guys want to put money together and sponsor this award for the next few years?" And they were all on board, and so we got to put our family name on it, and they've designated me to be the person who gives it out every year, and I love to do it because it comes from the heart, and that's easy for me, and I really enjoy doing it. And this year is here in Minneapolis. This is where Mom and Dad were from, and so.
That's so special. Yeah, I'm glad you get to be here and do that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a little extra feely.
Tug on your heartstrings. So speaking of scholarships and new professionals and new CSR, or we call them CSRs in California, but new reporters, students, obviously quality must have been a huge thing in your family. I mean, you would not have survived, right? Like your father had an agency, and quality is everything, right? And you have a term you guys have coined, or you've coined, about a sacred record, I believe.
Well,
tell me about this and why it's so important.
I don't know that it's just how I feel, and I'm a person who feels first, and my father instilled in me. It's always about relationships. It's not about money. It's not about it's about people and relationships, and he instilled in me that the record is sacred. It's not about me. My transcript is not about me. And one of the I had just recently had an experience where my assignment was a deposition of a husband and wife, and we get our paperwork and it's so and so versus so and so, and we get a witness name and a time and a date, and it's always like the first day of school. What's the class? We don't even know what class we're going to.
True.
And and shortly into it, I realized, these are depositions of the mother and father of a young girl who was a nursing student who was killed in a trucking accident. And so I took the father's deposition first, and he was about my age. And when he talked about his daughter, and of course they go through the factual stuff first and the biographical stuff first, and then they get to how has losing your daughter impacted you, right? And you wouldn't be human if you didn't feel that emotion and compassion and everything. And anyway, so I took the father's deposition, and I knew the mother was coming next. And having been through this a few times, you kind of have an idea what's coming now. Now you know what class you're in. And so
It's almost better when you don't.
sometimes it is, yeah.
Yeah.
So I made a social media post about the impact of this on me, and how I viewed it, and I my message, and I wrote the message on a encouraging court reporting students forum.
I love that group.
Yeah, I do too, and I love to contribute because I was blessed. I'll get back to this because of my background. I never doubted whether I could do it or not. So many students who don't have that background, they start to doubt themselves. Can I really do this? I get to 160 and they hit a plateau. Maybe I don't have it in me.
Right.
It's
so mental.
It is
the process.
My dad was a speed contest legend. I had an older sister who did it. It was never a doubt that I could do it. Did I want to? That was the only question for a young guy like me. And so my post to the students was when you start to think about why you're practicing, it was such an honor to such a responsibility and a sacred honor to take that mother's testimony of losing her daughter and what it meant to her. And I'm sorry I'm getting emotional about it. I'm just emotional this weekend. That's all there is to it. But I said, practice like the day is coming when a grieving mother is going to trust you to tell her story to the world. Wow. Get humble and practice for her. It's not about you. So let me take a drink here and settle down.
Well, that's a good perspective for me too, because after a while you can become a little jaded, and you kind of have to turn off the emotion sometimes, and you forget. It's just another day, and it's a paycheck, but it does mean more than that. For so many people. I mean, sometimes it's just about the dollars. It's contracts between businesses and whatever. But yeah, these are people's lives, and that's a great perspective to remind me of as well.
Yeah.
But I love that, to give a deeper why of why you want to achieve this. And
you want your transcript to be sharp, because this is her chance to say, this is our loss, and here's why we think, here's why we're here. Yeah. This is the why. Yeah.
It's her testimony.
It is her testimony.
A deeper meaning than just a court testimony. Yeah. It's her honoring her daughter. Wow. That's a great perspective. So talking about students, and you've been involved in scholarship and raising money for them. So are there scholarships available? I won't quiz you on all the details because there's a lot of new ones popping up all the time. But I would just encourage our listeners, if they're students or new professionals, to maybe take advantage of some of those. Yeah.
Absolutely. The National Court Reporters Foundation, since I've been involved, their fundraising has just gone really, really well. And
Good.
they've gotten so many more people to be NCRF Angels, which then funds the scholarships, and they've been able to offer more and more. And this is a way for folks who've been blessed by court reporting to pay it back. And it's for me, like I said, it was easier for me because somebody said, "Is it hard following your dad's footsteps?" I said, "It's like he paved a brand new 4-lane freeway, and I'm the only one on it." It's he cleared the path for me completely, and so I've always felt like I'm happy to give back. I've got more than enough to give back, and giving back has a way of returning to you tenfold, and so. So because NCRF has been so successful in their fundraising the last probably 5 to 10 years, they've just increased the amount of scholarships and grants that are out there for young students and young professionals. And when you come to the seminars, you see the support that the students are getting.
Oh yeah.
They are as beloved as that ambulance when you call 911, because we know we can't do it forever. And we know how anybody who's in the field knows there's more work than time to do it, and new hands are always welcomed. And because we all had to climb the mountain, my dad paved the freeway. I say he paved the freeway in business, but mastering your stenography, whether it's machine, I'm machine. But I'm sure it's the same for voice. Whichever method you're taking is a one-on-one battle, and it's win or go home, and so everybody who's made it understands that, and understands that as much support and as help as you get, there are a lot of nights when it's just you against the challenge. And the only way to win is to not give up and keep doing what you're supposed to, keep practicing, keep working.
It's worth it.
Yeah, and listening to your instructors. And if you buy in, if you keep doing it, the rewards will be there.
And I'm so glad that there's so much support now for them, because I don't recall that being even just 5-10 years ago, but now they're honored. Everyone stand up if you're a student, and everyone claps. And because, I think we've all been there. We're at our first convention. We know no one. Maybe we came with one person. And so it's huge to begin your networking journey. And we're all on an island, right? Maybe if you're in court, you have a team, right? But 4 of you, that's a pretty small island still. But when we get to interact with each other and share notes, and it's just so much fun. It's a shot in the arm every time I come to this. So whether it be on the national level or the state. And so for those students to get that and see, people are succeeding, and wow, it's worth it. I got to keep going.
Yeah. Look at all the success around you. That's what the conventions are good for. The success, the camaraderie, the joy. People who are in this field love what they do. I love what I do. And, I feel so blessed to have a job that I love what I do, because I meet a lot of people who don't love what they do, and they're not, they're not feeling so blessed by their career choice.
Right. And going back to the island thing, I think we often think we're the only one that has had this thought or has had this struggle, and we've all had the same ones. And by talking, we can figure that out. It's very encouraging for sure.
Yeah, we all have the same. We do all have the same thoughts, but we are all on an island. Once we go on the record, we never work with a second stenographer.
That's true.
We're always in the room alone, and when somebody's interrupting every question or stepping on every answer or talking 300 words a minute, It's
Yeah.
us against them.
Yeah.
There is no help coming. It's just you. And so that's when we are on the island,
Right.
and we all understand that because it happens
Oh,
all
yeah.
the time. And but what makes a real professional is being able to handle that. Handle that rough day, and the transcript still comes out looking pretty. And so they know they can trust you, and they know they can trust you when it's a rough day and the stakes are high and the consequences are big, and that you're going to be a steady person and do a good job. And
No matter what. That's
yeah.
right. Because, some days are just so easy. You think, why are they paying me for this? This is so easy. And then other days you're going, oh, why? How
Yeah.
did they give me a license? I'm not hanging in there, So, it's true. But you have to just ride out those waves and being determined. I mean, and that's what schooling is. I mean, it's learning the skill, but it's the determination to finish through with what.
There's no quitting.
No. And that's what's also required in the job.
Yeah.
Because these attorneys, I mean, they're putting everything on the line. The litigants are putting everything on the line, and you're the one who has to deliver this evidence for them. So it's critically important. They don't call us guardians for nothing, right?
That's right.
Guardians of that record. Yeah. What would so you've been involved in, as a trustee and as in leadership on your state level. How would you would you recommend leadership? And I know volunteering you clearly are passionate about because giving back, but.
Absolutely. So, so much of our continuing education and our organizations, so much of it is run by volunteers. It's us. It's us supporting us.
Right.
And absolutely, I would encourage people when you feel blessed, you're blessed to be a blessing, and so people don't need to jump into board service or executive level stuff. You can jump on a committee that's near and dear to your heart, because there are always things that could be worked on, whether it's putting together a conference, looking for speakers, or whether it's helping with rules and bylaws. Some people, like that. I mean, that's not my gig, but some people love it. You can't get them off it,
Yeah.
There's all kinds of committees.
Well, we have a student actually who is very active on social media and taking pictures and sharing and knows all the hashtags and all the things. And we asked her, because a lot of us are on the older side. I mean, you're going to laugh when I say that, but truly, I'm not as adept at social media. And we tasked her with, at our events, to be the social media person, and we don't have to worry about that. And it's done beautifully, and it's done just well, and our marketing goes out, and everyone using their strengths is just priceless.
Yeah, because we're all artists, we're all individuals, and we share a lot of things in common. But no two are we're like snowflakes. No two are the same. You can't find two are the same. And that's what makes that, I've always said this is part science and part art. And, the science is whatever word they said is the word they said. How you write it, though, is completely up to you, and how you capture the record, and even how you punctuate. I mean, if you want to start a conversation with court reporters, bring up commas,
I know. I think my very first convention I went to, there was a Margie Wakeman Wells seminar about commas, and I think it was 2 hours, and I was on the edge of my seat. Like, how is this wise woman? So, I mean, every weird scenario and every potential sentence, and I thought to myself after, people are probably looking at us like, you guys are crazy. I can't believe you get off on commas like this, but it's true. It is our favorite topic. I don't know.
Yeah. So
Oxford comma, no Oxford comma. Anyway.
Yeah, semicolons.
But it makes a difference, because it really can color, to your analogy about art, but it can color the meaning of the sentence of
Absolutely.
the words.
There are a lot of right ways to do it, or not wrong ways to do it, and that's where the art comes in. And so and there's room for that in the field, because in the end it's supposed to be a verbatim transcript for readability, you know, you want it to be real readable, and different people have different ideas, you know, how that looks to them, but there's room for subtle variations in that, in how.
And I've even changed over the years.
Right, exactly.
I'm assuming you have as well.
I have all
when
the
I
time.
got out of school, I thought, no, this is it. This is the way. And then over time, I think, well, I kind of like that so-and-so does this, you know. So, yeah, it's fun because we're always molding our craft a little bit, tweaking things.
Yeah, after 40 years, I'm still changing my writing all the time.
Wow.
And I feel like I'm always growing, and that's one of the beauties of this career is you get to always be improving and working on it, and
which ultimately makes your life easier.
right, yep.
The better your skill gets, yeah. Oh, I hope to be loving it as much as you do at 40 years. I got 20 more years to go.
Well,
But thank you for coming and sharing your story with us.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And I aspire to be as philanthropic and altruistic and all those fun words, but it's so important to have people like you in our industry, and I'm very glad to know you.
Well, thank you. And my observation is you're already doing that. You're involved with your state association. You're producing this podcast for other people's improvement and benefit. And so, in a way that I wouldn't be able to do, you are bringing what you have to the table, and that's what it's all about.
Cool. We're trying. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you all for listening. And this is Court Reporter Confidential. I hope you'll like and subscribe. And we'll see you next time on our next episode. Thanks.